Hey guys, yo, welcome to the first replay analysis of the day. Oh my god, I'm excited. I'm excited too. Are you excited? PD Spirit's excited because guess what? He's the one we're looking at right now. Oh my god. We got a ZvT Platinum coming at you right now. Okay? Platinum, boys. Let's do it. Let's jump into this right now. Boom. Good splitting, dude. Well done. I'm proud of you. You did a one-way split. That's, you know, a good effort right there. Good hustle. Good hustle. So, if you guys don't know what replay analysis is, it's basically we watch somebody's perspective and we help them get better at StarCraft in as many ways as we can. We tell them what they're doing for what we think is good, and we tell them what they are doing, which we think is maybe looking for improvement, and we just basically help them get better at the game. So, again, platinum level, we'll see how PD plays it out, but so far, he's fine. Looking great, actually. PD, I couldn't critique a single thing right now. Good job. You're spinning your larva like a champion. Well done. Okay, look at that drone. He's going to his natural right now. Well timed as well. Not bad. You sent it off. It's fine. I would say maybe a tad bit early, but it's okay. It's very minor. It was like 2 seconds. It's not a big deal. Now, what build are you gonna go for? This is really the big deal. You're doing a great job at spinning your larva. So that's the biggest thing I would really question you on if you weren't. Looks like you're gonna go for possibly a pool now. Okay, so you look like you're doing the B2GM style because you're not taking a gas, and I imagine you should now take a gas around 20 if you are gonna go B2GM style. We'll see. I mean, it's seeming more like it, right? But we'll see. Good job sending the larva though. Okay, I can't critique enough how many times people fuck that up. And yeah, you are doing B2GM style. So many times, so many people fuck up the larva. 5SD, 5SD, 5SD. It is the golden rule, and you're really adhering to it right now, so that's good. Okay, so now your scout. I like your scout. Your first scout. This one, not bad. I'm gonna pause it for a second. Not bad, but I would say it's a little bit south, because I can tell where you clicked. You clicked probably like right there. Like right around like right there. Somewhere in the center of this circle is where you clicked. Because the angle of where the Overlord is headed, where it's headed. This Overlord should actually be headed this way. Not this way. It should be headed this way. Up. Like just a little bit further up. It should have been going from your base that way. Because you shouldn't be clicking here against Terran. Especially now that you're in Platinum. You should not be clicking here. You should be clicking here. Because if you click there, you will still see the natural with the edge. The Overlord will still be in range to see this with vision, but what you really want to see is the ramp as well. That's very important. And if you ever have to, you can always detour it and turn it around and go back to the cliff. You're close to it either way, but you want to see the ramp. So if you don't scout the ramp, I'm going to question this and we'll talk about it. And also, if you do scout the ramp, it makes no sense to scout here first and then go up because it just detours your Overlord a little bit. It makes you have to travel longer to see it, which increases the chances your Overlord could die to a Marine. Whereas if you just go here first, it's like a direct path, and then you scout that faster, so you don't have this like detour that takes longer. So we'll talk about that in a minute when we get there. But yeah, other than that, so far I like your build. Second Overlord is moving up. Okay, perfectly. Okay, second Overlord, well done. I can tell you moved up here based on how you're moving through the middle of the map, like no fucks given. This is great because you sent that out at a great time. You sent it out right as your natural was going to finish, which means you confirmed you're not being proxied by bullshit like bunker or something. Really, really good. Second Overlord, 10 out of 10. Good job. That's very, very, very good. Perfect. So now let's watch this Overlord for a sec. And you see a Marine. And you see the natural. I'm happy you at least saw this. But you notice how there's no way you could ever scout his ramp and then get back to the cliff. You would have totally died. Because your Overlord was like over here. But if your Overlord was over here initially, and the Marine started shooting you, your Overlord would have already still spotted the natural. But if you were like up here instead of over here, you could have literally dove. your vision, if you were like right there, your vision would have been like this far out. Like literally like that far out. Like just barely to the edge of it, and you could have moved your Overlord from like there to like right there. Just there to there while the Marine shoots you. By the time your Overlord gets here, your Overlord would probably have like 160 hit points. Roughly. And if you were here, you know what you would see? You would see a barracks that is done because he has a Marine, and you would see if he's making a reactor on it or a tech lab or whatever. And you would also see if he's going to go for a factory or not. Or you would see a barracks that is making another unit without an add-on, because you can see the lights flashing on the barracks. Just so you don't get confused, just so nobody gets confused, just know the lights on the barracks will flash regardless if it's a unit being made or if it's an add-on being made. It's because something's being produced. So it'll flash either way. But seeing any type of production is a big deal. It tells you what he's doing. Now let's just see, hypothetically, I'm not going to look all the way into his base. I'm just going to look at the edge of the ramp on the screen right here. I'm not going to cheat. And I'm going to tell you what you would have seen. You would have seen probably like up to there. If we're looking right here where the green box is. You would have seen that. And you could have backed off. And you know what that means? That right there saying, oh my god, that's a really early tech lab. That rules out Marine pressures. That rules out Hellion pressures. That tells me there is a chance you might be dealing with someone who goes Marauders. Lots of players in low leagues like to do this early tech lab on the barracks thing. It's very awkward. But, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter exactly what it would be. It would just be something you could see and go, cool, yeah, that's what's happening. It's a tech lab on the barracks. And now we know that he has the ability to go Marauders if he wants to. Now, if you think, what if he just makes Marines and he gets an upgrade out of it? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do that fast. Because if think about this. Are Marines without medevacs that scary? The answer, honestly, is really no, they're not. And if someone wants to make also a really fast tech lab upgrade for Stimpack, it means they're going to have insanely quick stim way before medevacs exist. And also, if they're making Marines off of a tech lab to make stim really fast, they're going to have a very low Marine count as well. So they're going to have, like, it'd be a situation where you have, like, 7 Marines with Stimpack. No medevac support, no combat shield, no +1 weapons. Just 7 Marines and Stimpack. That army would get destroyed by many, many things. Like, 1 Spinecrawler or 1 Queen could kill it. Like, 3 Roaches or 4 Roaches could kill that. Many things could easily kill that kind of an army. It's not intimidating. So when someone normally goes Stimpack, usually what they'll do is they'll get a reactor first and then get a second barracks with a tech lab to make stim on, because that second barracks that gets made a little later will time out better with Stimpack that will also line up with more bio and medevacs. So first tech lab probably does not mean stim, because even if it is, it's not threatening. If he rushes that Stimpack and then attacks you the second it's done, you'd be like, wow, 7 unupgraded Marines with no support. Okay. And it's dead now. Like, it would not be threatening. That's my point I'm trying to make here. So just seeing that it's a tech lab kind of tells you this guy might be going for Marauders early, which, again, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying that you got to freak out now or anything like that. It just kind of gives you an indicator as to what he's probably going to do. Probably. Otherwise, his build's inefficient. And getting that information is kind of nice. It tells you a lot. Like, basically what that does tell you, last thing I'll say, is it not only is it about what he is doing, it also rules out what he isn't doing. And you know what that tells you that he isn't doing, that I just said? That was the first thing I said, but I'll say it to finish it off. The biggest one you should care about is seeing a tech lab on a barracks. If you saw that, that would tell you that he is not going Hellions. And you know what that means? It means you don't have to give a shit about your drones dying, because they won't die. Because he's not going to do a Hellion run by in your mineral line. He's not going to kill your creep with Hellions. He's not going to do anything with Hellions. There's no Hellion pressure at all. For the time, like, for the immediate future. Like, you are totally fine. He is not doing an opener of Hellions. So you should feel totally fine to be like, drone, and not give a shit. No shit's given. Especially also since the fact that he has a natural. So you made a couple lings, that's fine. Let's see what else you're doing. Make a lair. Yeah, you're definitely doing B2GM. Make another queen, you should be. And larva. So now we're gonna watch your larvae more intensely now because you have queens with injects. You're missing a queen here. Definitely want to make that. That's a priority because you can easily afford it. You just and this is part of your. This is a big aspect of your gameplay because this is the initial of your creep spread. So a third queen is very, very. You're missing a lot of time on it. Definitely start a third queen when you start your layer. You're going for a really fast third. I don't really mind this that much because you see that he expanded. This is the way to tweak the build a little bit to a more greedy route because you're going to delay your roaches now a little bit at the cost of, like, the gain is you get a little bit of a faster third to be saturated, but more greed, more drones at the cost of delaying your roaches a little bit. And that's okay because if you would have scouted there's a tech lab up here and no Hellion pressure, it would have made sense. I think the way you're doing it is a little risky because if he did go Hellions, you'd be getting fucked up right now. Like, the fact that you're delaying your roaches and you have no speedlings, if he was opening Hellions, all this would do to you is give you a risk to die. That's all it would do. Like, if you were playing like a Masters Terran or something and he was like the kind of the guy who just like every game I just open up reactor Hellions and I make 4 of them and I dive into the mineral line. That's what I do. If you played against that guy, you would lose this game because you are now creating a hole in your build that would abuse because you don't know if he's going Hellions or not. You can assume he might not be because he has a bunker, and that's really weird if you're going to go Hellions. It's just really weird in general. It's a very defensive posture. But yeah, like, that might be also why you went for a third. The bunker could be a little bit of an indicator that, okay, yeah, maybe he's being extra defensive. But just being confirming it would be nice. That's all I'm saying. Like, you could have confirmed it, and then this would be... I agree with your decision. I don't agree with how you made it, though, entirely. This is all I'm trying to say. My dog is, like, making lots of noise over there. Anyways, yeah. Yeah. And also, the fact that you're skipping the... I think she's, like, mad at me talking to you. I don't know, it's PD, I think, but this might be over, dude. No, I'm just kidding. The fact that you're delaying your third command center... I mean, your third queen, though, this hard, that's bad. Because... last thing I'll say is not only did you create a hole in your build where you went for delayed roaches with a faster third, which creates like a weakness in your early game defense, and it's more greedy, but you also took another weakness in your early game defense by not making that third queen. So now you have no creep. You don't have a third queen to help, you know, if shit were to have attacked you, and you haven't really confirmed it. So it just risky. You okay? One sec. I think my dog is like literally stuck. Give me 1 second. Are you okay? Okay, we're continuing the analysis. She was literally trapped under my bed. You're crazy. Mila, you're nuts. Then she crawled under the bed and she was like, I could hear her, but I couldn't see her. And she was trapped under the bed. She like crawled under it and got stuck. So I had to lift my bed up and let her out. But yeah, the fact that you didn't make a queen as well just increases the chances that you could get fucked up. It increases the chance you'll get fucked up by, if he does do Hellion pressure, then you could get, you know, he could just run you over because you don't have mobility either. So your third is also susceptible to drones dying if there was Hellion pressure. It's a lot of ifs here, but this is the problem about playing risky or playing like solid. So just knowing these things are important. That's why I'm really stressing them really hard right now. And now that you're platinum, you're gonna have to start dealing with shit like this as you get ready to go to Diamond. Because in Diamond League, you're going to really need to pick and choose intelligent choices because people will punish you if you pick a bad one. Okay. Okay. All right. Another thing too is your third queen. When you make a tumor, obviously make it. You should be able to make 1 to 2 tumors before your queen is ready to go to the third. But whenever you have a third that's like this, that's like almost done, this queen should already be walking to it. You don't want this third to make a queen as it finishes, and then that queen will then start injecting it. You want the third to finish, and the second the third is done, like the second it's done, a queen is already standing next to it. Just inject it immediately. You don't want to mistime that shit. So this queen should actually be walking here already to inject that third. Okay, looks like you are gonna do that. It's just yeah, the queen's this queen is just timed a little bit late in a lot of aspects, but you have the right idea though, so that's good. Just make the queen earlier. Make the queen when you make the layer. But I'm glad that you did that. That makes sense. And then again, like perfect. Your fourth queen is perfect. Your third queen is delayed. You should start a fourth queen as soon as your third queen becomes an injector. This is unnecessary as well. This queen should be an injector as it's done, and then that's when you start fourth queen. So your fourth queen's perfect. This queen's perfect that you're making now. Also make 2 Evo chambers, not 1. Yeah. So again, you have not ever confirmed if this is or isn't Hellions. And if you make a single Evo, I wouldn't mind that right away against Bio. But if you were versing Hellions, your roaches being delayed, your queen being delayed, your lack of wall, these are now 3 holes you've put into your build that you have not confirmed or denied would be good or bad. Because you don't know if he's going Hellions. At this point now, though, you can kind of tell he's probably not because you haven't seen them yet. And the window for Hellions is kind of gone at this point. But this is after the fact that you've already committed to these choices. When you made these choices, you didn't know that. And this was like 2 minutes ago or a minute ago. Because these buildings didn't just get started. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Be very careful about how you choose to set up your build. Because I'm telling you right now, the way you set this build up would straight up die to Hellions. And just because someone builds a bunker, if that's your only reasoning, he made a bunker. That's not enough of a reason. The Terran could literally just build a bunker and put 1 Marine inside of it and then actually do a Hellion attack. That could totally happen. It's not likely to happen, but it could. You haven't actually confirmed that it is not Hellions, though. So, a little bit more safety would be... It'll help you in the long run.
Love reviews take my money.
Yo, thank you very much. YOLO for the 5. My God, man. I'm glad you like them, dude. Thank you very much. Your creep could definitely be improved. By 5 minutes, you have 1 tumor. That's definitely under par, I would say. More like you're injecting your macros, not bad, but your creep is definitely lacking, like pretty hard. And you haven't done anything with your 4th queen yet either. Infestation pit's too fast. Hydrogen's well timed. The infestation pit's way too fast. Your droning, though, your saturation is not bad. Not bad. You're on par for pretty decent saturation of your 3rd. That's just so you know the timing when you should take your infestation pit. You should pair this when you start level 2 upgrades on Evos. When you start level 2 upgrades on Evos, you start an infestation pit. And then as soon as the infestation pit's done, you start a hive. And then as soon as the hive is done, level 2 upgrades finish and you start 3-3. Also, your 4th base. Just kidding. It's right there. I didn't see that drone. Yeah, good. 4th base well timed. Good job. I was going to say, as soon as you hit nice saturation on your 3rd, start a 4th base. Your 4th base should be paired with your hydrogen. Don't forget to resaturate your gas in your main. I'm going to back it up for a second. I want to see your drone count at 6 minutes. It's a little under par. A little bit. Not bad, though. It's if you could get to like 6, if you could get 66 by 6 minutes, that's great. You're close. So it's not bad. You're definitely on the right. Like if you didn't do shit like this, like build the spine, that would have been nice. And also if you didn't do things like build a really fast infestation pit, that would be nice as well. Because these are costs that affect you, which slow you down. But if you didn't do those things, guaranteed, and you spent the larva, guaranteed you could have been 66. And also you're supply blocked, or you're about to be. So yeah, just a little bit of fixes to your macro element, and you'd be great. Your larva spinning though is not bad. Larva generation, larva spinning is not bad. Your creep needs a lot of work, and your scouting. Now that we're platinum, you're gonna have to start scouting a little more intensely, and that could also use some work. That's why we really stressed it so far in this game up to this point, because your build was risky. You just happened to not get punished for it. Okay, and now you have a scout going through his base. You see double tech lab tanks. So this would be a moment where I would say, honestly, if we're talking about reacting to someone that plays like this, tanks are god-awful in low numbers. If they're exposed, they're very good when they're allowed to shoot a lot. And the only way there's only 2 ways tanks are allowed to shoot a lot. Only 2 ways. Tanks suck if they can only shoot like once or twice and then they die. But if they can shoot a lot, they're amazingly good. Like every additional shot a tank shoots at an army is not like incrementally better. It's like exponentially better. Because every time a tank shoots a shot, it actually destroys shit like fucking crazy. And it gets out of hand how quickly tanks can win a fight if they're able to get shot after shot after shot off. So 2 ways a tank is good. Number 1, it has something in front of it, like a wall. It has a wall in front of it like this. This tank's maybe a little bit exposed in the front, but this tank is well placed. This tank on the high ground is well fucking placed. This tank tucked away back here is well placed. These tanks, these 3 tanks right here are very well placed. This tank is not so much by this guy. This tank should honestly be like right there. Not gonna lie, it's way too close. But the point is these tanks would be more value than what 4 tanks are really worth if these 4 tanks were all like, let's say they're all in a clump right there. All 4 of them were just stacked up like that. Those 4 tanks would not be worth nearly as much value as they are here, spread out behind a wall. Same thing can be said if a Terran were to push you, and instead of having only 4 tanks, now he's got like 14 tanks or something, and he has like a bunch of Thors in front of them as well, and now he's got his big fat fucking army with tanks in it, and those tanks are able to shoot a lot because he has so much shit in front of them that covers them. Then tanks are very good again. The point I'm trying to make here, why this is relevant, is you could react to this by going, oh, he's going straight tanks. I can drone like crazy because if he moves out, I could easily kill 4 tanks in the middle of nowhere because it's just 4 tanks. And the amount of time it would take him to make an army to cover these 4 tanks would take a while. So you could actually react to this by just droning and not going for like the safety roaches or whatever I tell you to make it back in B2GM series. You could skip that safety aspect because the safety aspect is only because you don't know what your opponent is going to do and you're just playing the odds of being safe. You don't need to play the odds now because you scouted everything. With 2 overseers, you saw he's going pure tank production, 0 Hellions, and he has 4 tanks already. Like he does have 2 Hellions here right now, but yeah, it doesn't matter. 2 Hellions is not enough. He has double tech lab factories. There's no Hellion production going on here. So yeah, you would know that, okay, yeah, I could drone. So if you drone right now, I would agree with you because you've now scouted it and it makes sense. If you didn't scout this and you didn't know what he was doing, just like earlier in the game, and then you made drones anyways, I would be like, you're playing risky. But right now, it makes sense. Good scouting with the second follow-up scout that you just did. This time it was good. Good scouting. Now let's see how you react. If you make units, this is incorrect. If you make drones, this is correct. Because you have zero threat here. 0 pressure by this Terran. Correct. Good job. You made drones. It makes sense. There's nothing he can do to punish you right now for doing that. And you've confirmed it, so it makes sense. Again, though, your biggest weakness is your creep, dude. You've spread 2 tumors. 1 initially, and you spread it twice. In 7 minutes. This is very, very, very poor creep spread. You just started another tumor over here. This is your creep spread is, if I had to rate you, okay, I would say your macro is diamond, honestly, already diamond level. Your creep is like silver level, and your your scouting is it's like plat, maybe. Yeah, early on I would say it's more like gold, but I would say it's like plat now that you followed up with a nice overseer scout. That's good. That was a nice secondary scout. You kind of recovered there a bit. So your scouting can be improved a little bit. Everything can obviously be improved, but your weakness is definitely not your scouting that much. Other than the very beginning of the game, you definitely want to get that scouting on the ramp if possible. You really want to do that. I mean, I don't know what your comprehension is going to be, but I'm definitely not going to judge you too hard on it because you took a risk early. That's whatever. It was risky, but it worked out. And then the reaction you took here to scouting what you just saw was fucking perfect again. So that was good. And your second overlord was placed well as well. Like your first and second overlord, you're actually more like, I'm gonna honestly, dude, I'm gonna give you like diamond scouting, okay? Diamond scouting and like reactions. Because your second overlord was also placed well, so you had a backup overlord over there. That was good. Just really push for that ramp. That's the only thing I really critique you on in your scouting this game so far for your overlord placements and stuff. Nicely done on the overlords on the sides of the map and shit. You should definitely spread them out further as you go. The fact that there's 3 here is maybe a bit much. The fact that there's a bunch of overlords here is a bit much. Definitely be like 1 here, 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 etc., etc. You definitely want to fill in these gaps. You have very little effort in doing this. You have 1 here, you have 3 there, and that's it. You have nothing on the sides of the map beyond that that's revealed. So yeah, you could definitely fix that up a bit and not have so many overlords just kind of chilling at your base so much. But yeah, I mean, you can literally make the overlord and then move the egg there, which is an easy way to do it. And now you're at 78 drones. That's very close. I would like you to make it a little bit more, but that's super close. I assume what you did is you probably went to 81, and then you made gas hatch. Or really just gas because that hatch was made a long time ago. So you probably went to 80 and then stopped, and then now you went to 78 because you made a couple of extractors. So you should definitely fix those. Try to stay 80 plus. Don't ever let it, don't get there once and then let it dip down again. You want to stay there. It does make a difference. Go back to your vision. I also like that your 5th base is well timed as well because your main base is starting to mine out. So the fact that you took that is very good. Very, very good. Okay, you made more. Good. I'm really glad you made those drones. You're going to a very healthy drone count now. You're going to go back in the 80 range because you also just made some more buildings. Again, good shit. You understand that concept. That's very good. And you're making static D. I don't really mind that you're making static D that much right now. I'm going to say this. This is the minimum I will ever accept static D. You're not maxed out yet, and I really wish you would max out. I do wish you would max out first. I do think that is ultimately more efficient than what you're doing right now. Because if you don't max out yet, the easiest way you could defend this, creep spread. So you're probably justifying this static D right here, right now, by going, yeah, but ViBE, what if he attacks me? Like, wouldn't this static D be more worth it? Because I'm already fully saturated, and I have a lot of money to spend. Like, what if he shows up and suddenly the static D actually just kills him? I'd be like, the Spore Crawler on that concept? Okay, I agree with you. Yeah, what if like a BC shows up or a Banshee shows up? Sure, the Spore Crawler will help. Because it can go around you, and you haven't revealed this with airspace yet. Or a BC could literally teleport on you. I would not argue that point with you. But these Spine Crawlers, I would argue that point with you because there's 2 things that you could do that are better and more efficient to do the exact same job that these 2 spines are doing right now. Static D eventually is really nice, but right now, I don't think it's super necessary. But again, it's like the minimum of what I would accept. So it's still okay that you did it, but I think you could do it better. And here's the 2 ways you can do it. Number 1, get more vision. Better creep spread. You could just see a lot more of the map with more creep, and suddenly you're not so surprised by the edge of your base being on the fog of war. Like the fact that you have a base here that's fogged warred out is not acceptable. That's very bad. And you're using this base as creep to start generating creep spread, which means your creep is super far behind because your actual creep is right there. This creep, that should have started over here. Like, look how far this tumor has spread. This tumor has spread that far. You put that tumor down at like 2 minutes, and each tumor has a 22-second cooldown. because it's like an 11-second build time, and then it's like an 11-second cooldown to then spread another one. So it's like 22 seconds. And since like 2.5 minutes or so, you've spread it there to there. You spread it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. You could have spread this tumor probably like 8 times or like 9 times by now. So this creep tumor could literally be like right there. I'm not even kidding. It could be like up, if you're going to go this way directly, it could be like up here at 8 minutes. And you should also have more than like 2 tumors spreading. You know what I'm saying? You could, right now as well, around 8 minutes, you could have like 10 tumors already. Or like 9 tumors, realistically. Like off of the fact that you had your third queen, tumor, or tumor, inject, but then you make a 4th queen right after to go tumor after that. You could definitely have like a lot more tumors than you do. With like your net of creep could be like this big. Serious. Right, I gotta go to everyone's vision. Your net of creep could be like this big right now. Like, it could be a lot bigger than it is. Like, you could be down to here with your creep. You could be, like, up here with your creep. You could be, like, over here with your creep right now. You could be getting to the ramp with your creep, getting up the ramp, possibly. It depends on how you spread. It depends what angle you choose to go for first, obviously. That's going to be the furthest most out tumor. But you could be, like, over here. You could be touching this wall, going down the ramp. You could be up here. There's so many directions you could be further than you are, and you barely have your bases touching each other right now. That's all you've really accomplished so far, is your bases are connected. It's not covering. And know this, okay? Know this. For creep to be efficient, there's for creep to be like, let me say it like this. For creep to be okay, for it not to be good, for it to be okay, at the very least, your bases should connect. And right now, your bases connect other than this little hallway of no creep and this hallway of no creep. These are 2 things that will fuck you over a little bit if your queens have to cross them. Queens will go really slow right there and then speed up again. Queens will go really slow right there and then speed up again. These are not good. You should actually have another tumor that's connected like here, spread it this way maybe, and then jump it down and connect that. This does make a difference if your queens ever had to defend shit early on in the game. Because they're going to be super fucking slow to do it. Now, so that's okay creep spread if it's just connected base to base. Good creep spread, efficient creep spread. Knowing like your macro is on point. Again, I am not questioning your macro right now. It's definitely platinum worthy. I don't think it's the best I've ever seen. Obviously, I'm not saying like your master's level macro. Like you actually kind of missed the quota a little bit, but you were super close. If you would have just changed your build order a little bit, like didn't build the things we talked about earlier before. If you hit the quota, basically the benchmark that I think is deemed worthy of higher level, I would have given it to you. But you were close, so I would say you're probably still like right around platinum level macro. Like you're on the verge of diamond macro. It's in there, somewhere in there. You're really close. You could easily be diamond with your macro. It's not bad. But for good creep spread to match that, you should have a full screen length of creep in front of your hatchery before the hatchery is done. So like the hatchery finishes and your creep should be like literally this whole box right here is creeped. This hatchery finishes. When it's done, this is creeped. Etc, etc, etc. Like the point is you have creep coverage as you expand into it, and then when you take your next base, you start this base with creep already out to like right there. And you start this base. You take this base and your creep is already right there. Or there. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you're expanding in the fog of war. You're expanding into your creep that reveals further forward anyway. So you know the base is covered. It's safe. It's good. It's not going to die randomly. So again, I feel like your justification for these finds might be the fact that you go, I don't know what's out there. But that's just a proving point that your creep is under par. It really is not up to par. You need to work on that for sure. And the best way I can tell you to work on creep is do creep in cycles. Like when you go, okay, I'm gonna spread creep. Don't just be like, okay, my camera is currently over here. I'm doing this. Oh, I see a creep tumor, spread it. And then you go back to this base and you're like, okay, now I'm making whatever the fuck I'm doing here. I'm gonna move this spine. I'm gonna make an inject. And oh, there's a creep tumor there. I'm gonna spread that one randomly. Okay, now I'm gonna go over here and do something over here. Start an upgrade. No creep tumors to spread. Whatever. Don't do that shit. Have the goal in mind like this. Inject. Okay, now I'm ready to do. I've spent my money. There's no larva. I started my upgrades. Everything is like done. I don't need to worry about shit right now. Start on one side of the map, start on the bottom, or start on the top, and go creep, 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 creep. Okay, I just did my whole layer wave of creep. Go back. I'll come back to that in 20 seconds. 25 seconds. I'll do another layer again further out, and then another layer further out, and another layer further out. It's layers of creep. It's like an onion. It's layers of that shit. It's not just pick random tumors and grab them as you see them. It's layers. So if you do layers, suddenly the first layer you might spread 1 tumor, then you spread 2 tumors, then you spread 3 tumors, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8. Each layer has like 1 extra tumor that the other one didn't have, until you get to a point when you have like 10 tumors. And now when you have like 10 tumors, suddenly you're spreading creep in literally every fucking direction. Like, it just branches so hard. It's such big coverage. And then if you need to take even more, you can fill in the gaps as you go with a queen again. Like a new tumor can be added. So again, creep is a massive downfall for you right now. It's so big. I really stress it hard because your creep sucks pretty bad. And like, this is not good. If you want to spread creep there like that, that definitely proves that you've missed creep for a long time. If you have that much, if you're going to be throwing that many tumors down at once, like, where's your queen? What queen is doing that? Where is she? This queen. This is the queen I'm pretty sure you told to go do that. So by the time she gets there, she's probably going to have like 100 energy. And by the time she lays down all these tumors, she might actually have 125. Maybe. Probably 100 though. Anywhere between 100 to 125. So 4 of these are actually going to be built. You're obviously not going to build all 8 of them. But even if you build 4 like this, that are stacked up like that, that's bad. What I would say you should do is you should go tumor, 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 tumor. So it could be like 1 tumor goes along the side so you can get vision on the edge of the map with your overlords. Another tumor goes along this side to cover the whole hallway. 1 tumor goes down here and like spreads up this way. 1 tumor goes over here, spreads this way. More tumors up this ramp can cut left and cover this. So on and so on. Don't stack your creep tumors this hard. This is not good. Because if you have like 4 tumors all going 4 here, you like put 4, let's say you put 4 there, and then you jump them all, now you have 4 there. Now you jump them all, now you have 4 there. Now you jump them all, now you have 4 there. That's fucking terrible. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. That's really lazy as fuck creep spread, and it's minimalistic on how much ground you cover. Because you're overlapping creep way too hard. The only way that would ever make sense is if your build was like, I'm gonna make 15 queens to start the game, and I'm not just gonna have 4 tumors. I'm gonna have like 14 tumors, and 4 of them happen to be like here, and then I have like another 15 tumors, and I have another 18 tumors, and another 15 tumors, and 12 tumors. And you're just like, I have like mass queen tumors everywhere. Fuck it. And the map is just like saturated in creep tumors. That's like the only time I would ever say that's not necessarily the worst, because it would take longer for Terran to like scan and kill that or whatever. But that's not even a build you're doing. And like that, I'm not even saying that that's good either. It's weird. It's too much. It's just overdone. It's redundant. Not necessary. Don't stack your tumors like that. It's really bad. That promotes poor creep spread is all it does. Okay, moving on. Like right about now too is when you should be sending out a roach. Both sides of the map. Scout the map. See where he's expanding. I like you're seeing this over here. That's nice. Now that you know that exists, that should be definitely the first place you attack. If you attack the top base, I don't agree with this. It should definitely be this base. Because this base... Yeah, I don't agree with this attack. I don't know why you went for this base. I mean, you might look at it and go, well, ViBE, it's a PF. Or, sorry, it's not a PF, it's an orbital. And he's only got 1 tank. Yeah, but what if he has, like, tanks there, and tanks there, and what if he has tanks there that are close to his natural, and then more tanks there? And the deeper you kill tanks, the deeper you run into more tanks. Like, this is not... And you're also closer to his production this way. I disagree with this entirely, because also, even if you kill this base, the deeper you commit your army into his production, if you sacrifice your army to a degree to kill an expansion, you give him more of a chance to run your ass down because you're deeper in his territory. So this is a terrible attack location. Highly recommend you go for this one first. And also, if you would have went for this one first, you could have done it before the planetary was even done. Like, you moved out. When you moved out with this army, if you would have moved out to the same spot here, you would have been attacking this already before the planetary was done. And you probably could have either made him lift off and get away, possibly, or you would have just straight up killed it. And this is further away from his cliffs and his production than this base is. It's right next to his cliff. This cliff doesn't really count because what's forcing you to go that way? You know what I mean? Like you make him, if you kill this base or you make it lift off and it somehow flies over the cliff, you don't have to go into the ramp. You don't have to go there. You just remove an expansion from Terran is all it is. But if you're here, you're deep in his territory. This is so close to his production that you're like right next to him. And this army's going to die. See what I mean though? Look, you killed one tank. It looked like one tank, right? Suddenly you're fighting two tanks. Suddenly now you're fighting a bunch of Thors. And you don't kill the base. That was just a waste of time right there is all that was. Like, did that cost you the game? Definitely not. It did not cost you the game. But you know what that did do? That cost you time. And time allowed him to now have a done PF. And now he's building more shit around it. A little bit. Like, not a lot, obviously. But he's also having more time to build a bigger army. Because you will max out before he does with Zerg. It's just how it works. But you're giving him more time to react to what you're doing. I do agree with what you're doing now, though. Like, you should have done this first. But the fact that you're doing it now, I agree with. You should definitely attack this base, not the other one. Because it's more exposed. It does not matter if it's a PF or not. It's exposed. Because the PF is less intimidating than being deeper in his side of the map next to his production and cliffs and tanks. That's more threatening than just a PF by itself. Look how fast that PF dies. Easy fucking kill. Exactly. You don't have to take that fight if you don't want to. You could back up. That's fine. Wonderful. Now, all you got to do to close the game out from here, keep expanding yourself. Do not let your bases get oversaturated. You're doing a pretty decent job of doing that already. Yeah, not bad. You're fixing it constantly. This is very good. I would give you a diamond level of macro now. You're upkeeping well. All you got to do is starve him out. Don't let him expand. Your creep still is pretty lacking. It's definitely getting a little bit better, but like you have like these missing chunks all over the place in your creep. And it's because you're sending only like one tumor every direction. And what I mean by that is I don't mean like every direction, like where it branches and forks where it's like this could go left and right. You have like one tumor. Where this one branches and goes left and right, you have one tumor. You have one tumor. When this one branches, well, you have two. You actually have two there, but really you have one pushing. You have two there. Okay, this is the kind of shit I'm hoping you do. Like, maybe not necessarily right next to each other, but just widen your creep highway so it's longer and fatter and wider. Like, it's bigger. When you only send like one tumor all over the place, you have things like this that happen where it's like, well, if this tumor goes straight, there's going to be a dead spot of creep here. If this tumor goes to the right, well, this is a dead spot of creep. If this tumor goes to the left, well, this is going to be a dead spot of creep. So you need more creep. If this tumor goes to the right, this is dead. If this tumor goes to the left, this is open. You just need a little bit more tumors going in directions rather than like one going left, one going right, one going down the middle. You need like 3, 3, 3, 2, whatever. Just like more, not stacked like we talked about, but just like a line of tumors, 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 a line of, you know what I mean? Like actually spiderweb out the map. Every time, like the way you should spread it is just think about it like this. If you start with 1, it's 1. Suddenly, when it's 2, it's not 2 next to each other. The 1 spreads to the left and 2 goes to the right. Now, when 2 goes to the right and you have 1, now you can put a third one in there. You can move both of them further forward, and now a third one gets applied as well. And now suddenly you have 3 tumors going 3 different directions. And then now you can make the first one go a little bit more to the left. The middle one goes a little more to the left. The one to the right goes maybe like down the right a little bit, and now you got a 4th one on, and now you have 4 tumors. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be like this. Like 1, 2, like really fucking far out. It's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, you actually spread it like that. Like, I hope you understand what I mean. There's just too much fucking isolated room between the tumors. So, like, this tumor, to be perfect right now, this would be a great way to do it, to fix this. Queen puts a new tumor there. This tumor goes to the left. Now, you got a tumor going this way and a tumor going this way. Queen comes over here, puts a tumor right there. And then this tumor can go up this way, get to the ramp, and then go this way. Because this tumor right here could also get to the top of the ramp, and while you get to the bottom of the ramp with the other tumor, so this tumor could go here, 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 here. This tumor could go here, 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 here. And then that tumor is covering that side. Another tumor could be started right there, and this tumor could go like this. Here, 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 here. And then you can choose to go up the ramp with the other tumor, or you could go to the right here on the top side. Another tumor could be started right there. You could go here, here, here on the bottom side. You can make another tumor on the edge of this, on the creep right here, that goes here, here, here. It goes up. Like, more tumors to just cover ground, because right now, again, this is shit creep spread. The creep spread is, it's finally getting out there, but it's so thin when it's out there. It's like your fifth base, not covered much at all. This base over here, barely covered. Like, and not covered there either. Like, if this Terran player went this way, and let's say he moved right here, down, down, and he fucking sieged right here, you wouldn't even know it was happening. And your creep is actually to the ramp still. On one side of it. It's just isolated on the other. It's like not even existent on the other place. It's too spotty, is what it is. And there's so many ways on so many maps that shit like that will happen, where you'll be like, oh, wait, what? He pushed? I have creep. What the fuck? You gotta clean that shit up. I don't recommend infestors at all for you. Your army's way too diverse for what your league is. You upgraded lurkers as well. I don't mind that you made a lurker den. That's not the worst thing. I don't want you to use them really unless you really have to. And the only time I would ever say would be a decent time to use them is if you were fighting someone that was 100% Thor Hellbat and you knew that. You just knew it because your army got owned by it. And you're like, well, I'm going to remake a bunch of Hydras and make like 10 lurkers with it. That'd be okay. I'd be okay with that because Thor Hellbat can't really do shit to lurker. It really can't. I would be okay with that. But if you start trying to make lurkers work against like fucking tanks and shit, I'm going to be like, what are you doing? The fact that you make infestors, I don't agree with this. I honestly think your infestors are going to accomplish literally nothing. They're going to run in and die. I guarantee it. They're going to do fucking nothing. I don't really mind that you made
Hey ViBE, what do you think of PD's creep?
Yeah, it's bad. I don't like it. Thank you, Too Legit to Quit. Much love for the bits. Thank you, dude. I don't mind that you made 2 Corruptor because you can make Broodlords out of those. And if this guy was going to go heavy tanks, that would make sense to make Broodlords. Swarm Host, kind of redundant with the Broodlords. I don't really care if you made Swarm Host either that much. But if you make your army like this, where it's like you got 3 Swarm Hosts, you got 2 Corruptor, you got 5 Infestors, this kind of shit is just bad. You kind of want to like pick your armies and like really utilize them. What I literally see right now happening with the fact that you only have 3 Swarm Hosts, 5 Infestors, and 2 Corruptors, none of them are really enough to do anything, and the Infestors are the worst choice of all because you're not even, I guarantee you're not even going to use them. What I see right here out of these units, that is 10 supply in Infestor, that is 4 supply in Corruptor, and that is 9 supply in Swarm Host. This is, in my opinion, 23 supply of dead supply. Your army your max out army might as well be 179 instead of 200. It's just dead supply. It doesn't do shit for you. I would rather have you make Hydras or something like that. Like, you're not going to use any of these things appropriately, I guarantee it. And also, you don't even have enough of the Corruptor or enough of the Swarm Host to use those properly anyways. There's not even enough there to be good. So it's just dead supply. So if this is a standard that you do, stop doing that for now. And this is another problem too, is that you need to play a style with Roach Hydra, okay? If you go mass Hydras, know that that army sucks dick. Do not think Roach Hydra is like, you're suddenly this big Zerg power muscle that's going to just run everything over when it's equal supply. The whole point of Roach Hydra is that you cripple your opponent repeatedly and you don't let them fortify themselves to a point that is getting to max supply while you're still just sitting on Roach Hydra. The only time that is ever acceptable is if you have starved them out and they have slowly been able to climb to a point where they have max supply. The fact that in 12 minutes you've only attacked the planetary here and that is literally all you've done is awful. I don't mind that you backed up and you wanted to avoid a fight that much, but you should have immediately walked across the map to the other side and checked another base, and then if you didn't see a base, then attacked his orbital. And then make trades happen. You want to trade your army with him. You want like 60 supply 60 supply of your army to die and only like 30 supply of his to die. You want that to happen. And you know why you want that to happen? It's because you are mining more money than he is, and you're making an army that can max out. Roach Hydra is not an army that's like, well, it's going to take me 8 minutes to max. Okay? Like, I'm going to need a while. But mech kind of is. Mech is not like, I've snapped my fingers and I'm maxed. The way for mech to max out is so much more expensive than the way for Zerg to max out. So your advantage is to keep, literally kick him in the fucking legs, knock him down, and then just kick him in the fucking gut over and over while he's down. That's how you play Roach Hydra. You just keep kicking them down over and over. You don't just go, okay, go ahead, get full power, and then we'll fight. Because then Roach Hydra scales like absolute fucking shit. It is awful if you allow your opponent to max out. You're going to take the worst fight of your life if you fight him. You're going to die here. Roach Hydra scales like absolute garbage. So he's sieging his tanks. And what I imagine is going to happen in this fight is you have a decent concave here, I'm not going to lie. And you also engaged him before he was sieged. These are two really good things that are going for you. But even though you did that, I still think you're going to lose this fight. What are your upgrades as well? He's 1-1, you are 2-1. So you even have an upgrade advantage. I still think you're going to lose this fight. Also, you used that spell incorrectly. This is exactly what I'm talking about with, that was just dead supply. The Locust literally accomplished nothing. The Corruptors accomplished nothing. The Infestors accomplished literally nothing. They're using Microbial Shroud on your enemy units. And you might know how the spell works, you might not. I'll just explain it really fast. But it literally just know that using Microbial Shroud in a fight in StarCraft 2 is about as effective as if you were in a fight in real life and someone had they pulled out a knife and they were going to stab you and you literally just shit your pants. That's about how effective Microbial Shroud is. So, it's like the pants shitting effect. So, it's not very effective. It's not going to do a whole lot. It's got very low success rate. So, what it really does... it's obvious... No, it's a fucking bad... what the fuck is the point of Microbial Shroud? It doesn't have a point. It's so bad. Here's what it does. This is what it does. If you put Microbial Shroud on your units, not his units, you put it on your units, that cloud makes your units that are on the ground take 50% damage from units that shoot into that cloud from the air. So a Banshee shooting an Infestor would do half damage. A Battlecruiser shooting an Infestor. Whatever. What else shoots ground for air from Terran? A Liberator shooting ground. Half damage. That's it. It's only air to ground. That's it. It's when they have to shoot down at you. It does nothing ground to ground. And it does nothing when you put it on his army. You know what it actually does? I'm not going to lie. If your Corruptors could actually shoot the ground, if that was... if a Corruptor could shoot a Thor, just like a Corruptor could shoot a Colossus, if that existed, you would actually have nerfed your Corruptors by doing that. Because you would have made his Thors would actually be getting a Microbial Shroud buff that would make your Corruptors do less damage to his Thors. If that was a viable trade that could happen in this game. So, biggest waste of your Infestors. Don't even make them. Do not even make them. It's such a waste of your gas as well. Those 5 Infestors could have been 15 Hydras, or they could have been 20 Roaches. Or, wait, what? Is it 20? That seems like bad math, but it is. It is 20 Roaches. It's 4 Roaches per Infestor. Yeah. I just am surprised by the fact that it's 15 Hydras or... No, sorry, it isn't 20 Roaches. I'm bad. I was doing 100. That's wrong. It's 6 Roaches per Infestor. So it's actually 30 Roaches. That makes more sense. I was, for some reason, counting the Infestors only cost 100 gas for the Roaches. I don't know why. It is literally 15 Hydras or 30 Roaches. 30 Roaches. That's what 5 Infestors are worth in terms of gas. 6 Roaches per Infestor or 3 Hydras per Infestor. These Infestors did nothing but fuck your gas over a little bit and weaken your max. And you got destroyed in that fight. Look at the supply right now. And this is after. This is after you remaxed. And why are you making corruptors right now? Why are you making Zerglings? Disagree with both of those. These are just like dartboard reactions. It's random. They make no sense. Here's why. Makes no sense to go Corruptor right now for 2 reasons. Lings are okay. I'll explain that in a second, but I don't want you to use Lings in Platinum, which is why I disagree with it. But here's why Corruptors do not make sense for 2 reasons. Number 1. Thors fucking beat the shit out of Broodlords. Hard. Thors wreck the ever-living shit out of Broodlords. Do not ever make Broodlords versus Thors. That is like trying to use a pair of scissors to kill a rock. It's not going to work. It's going to go bad. Now, number 2. You have no time to make Broodlords. Why is this? You took the fight in your base, not his base. You took the fight in your base. You have no time to make a reaction right now with Broodlords. 0 time. The second the fight was over, he's walking into your base to kill your expansions. So what's going to happen now, if you chose Broodlords as your option, you're going to be like, well, I'm going to have to sack my 5th base and my 4th base, and then I'll have Broodlords. So it makes no sense, because he's killing your base as you're trying to make Broodlords. So you're taking this massive fucking damage before Broods are out. And Broods are bad for a second reason because of that. So, double negative. Now the final thing, there's even a 3rd reason why I just noticed this is really bad. You spent all of your gas on Corruptor. You have no gas to make Broodlords with. So you're going to literally have Corruptors flying around against Thors that are just going to fly around and watch your base die. And Lings, the thing about Lings is they just require more micro to be good. And I don't think you can do that right now. I do not want you ever to micro in Platinum. And this applies to everybody, not just PD Spirit. Don't micro in Platinum. Do not fucking micro in Platinum. Don't do it. You can't handle it. You really can't. I'm not saying that to be a dick. You fucking cannot micro in Platinum. If I had to micro against a Platinum player, I would have a 100% success rate because people in Platinum do not understand how to micro efficiently. They always over micro and fuck shit up. They over micro. You can micro eventually, but the thing is there's 2 ways you over micro and fuck it up. Number 1 is you just use the unit for too long and you do things with it that are bad, like you stutter step when you don't need a stutter step, or you use spells weirdly, like what just happened over here, or shit like that. Like, it's just not correct how to attack with the unit and make it efficient. But players in Platinum also, when they micro, they don't multitask. They just tunnel vision the unit. They stop doing every mechanical macro aspect of the game, and they just micro the unit. Players in high level play, they don't do that. They do not tunnel vision micro. They go like 1A click, 5 macro, 1A click, 5 macro, 1A click. Like they rotate their keyboard while they play it. They don't just go 1A click, 1A click, 1A click, 1A click, 1A click, 1A click, 1A click. Which is what players in Platinum do. They just stare at it and they don't fucking multitask. They do not multitask. So don't micro because it will fuck you over harder than it will help you. Guaranteed. Like micro when you can actually handle macroing to a high level degree. And you're really close to being there. Your decision making is very questionable though. And like the fact that you're also making Lings right now and he's got Hellbats with Blue Flame, like it's, yeah, I mean, I know you have to make Lings because you chose Broods, but if you just would have made Hydras again, dude, you would have actually won this fight. Right, he doesn't even have Blue Flame. It doesn't even matter though. Look at his damage, guys. He 2 shots his Zergling. It's 24, and Ling has 75 hit points. So you cleaned up the attack. This Terran kind of stuck himself really deep into your 5th base really hard. Or it's really your 4th base. He killed a base. You lost the base. I think this Terran kind of missed the opportunity to kill more bases than that. Honestly, he kind of just sat around for a bit. But I feel like you should have taken more damage than you did there, but you still did ultimately lose economy to just go broods. And again, it's not like, oh, well, now that you have broods, you're going to win the game. Broods are a double negative in today's version of StarCraft because now you are stuck into a position where your army is extremely expensive. You've spent your whole bank on shitty broodlords that are just going to die to Thors. And like this dude's making some obviously some questionable choices as well. Like he sent 3 Thors out by himself, and then they all died to like lings and shit. And now your broodlords show up, and you actually even lost like 3 broodlords there too, even though you killed 3 Thors. Like 3 broods also still died to those Thors that were getting shit on. But now that this guy's going back into mass Thors again, he's literally okay. He's how many Thors does he have? He has 7. I really don't understand why he's making tanks. This guy, you guys are both making really weird unit choices. He should just make fucking Thors. Yeah. Again, look at your creep spread though. Your creep spread has not moved since like minute 9. You need creep spread, man. Hey, you listening to me? It's like you're listening right now. Fuck yeah. But you, look what you did though. You spread this tumor and this tumor. You did spread these 2, but did you spread this? No. 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 You did like half the map of tumors. You should have done the whole map. And just know too, if you ever have a situation where you're like, well, ViBE, I can't spread this one. It's a vision blocker. I can't go there. I can't see it. Just know if you ever want to go up a ramp, anybody out there, you can put a tumor right there in the middle of the ramp. And as soon as you put it there, you can put it at the edge of vision on the bottom of the ramp, and the second you put it there, when the tumor is done, it will reveal the top of the ramp that you can then jump it from there to there with. You actually need you don't have to actually have a supporting air unit for creep on ramps, ever. You can do it yourself with the tumor itself. So there's no reason why you couldn't have spread that, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and so on and so on. All right, and we're going to kind of wrap this up now. The fact that you're going in, because this is what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now. The fact that you're going into a Broodlord heavy army, you're going to walk across the map, and you're just going to go, I'm here. You ready? Broodlords suck dick against mech right now. Here we go. And look at it, like, why is this guy going so fucking crazy in anti-ground right now? I don't understand. There we go. There we go. That's what we're looking at. Now your broodlords are fucking dead. Look at that. Look at this trade. Look how OP as fuck Thors are to Broodlord. It's ridiculous. Do not ever make this unit against mech. Never make that unit. Do not ever make Broodlords against mech. They nerfed the shit out of Broodlord by buffing the shit out of Thor. It's ridiculous. Do not ever make Broodlords against mech ever again. Unless you are doing, the only time it's acceptable, the only time, is when I told you guys, it still applies this way, when I told you guys you can add in a Broodlord army one time. You can add in Broodlords one time. Like 8 of them or something. And you can attack the guy's base if you cannot break him. If you just want to add it in. And the reason why you're not going to break him if you're trying to break him repeatedly with Hydras is because he probably has a lot of tanks.
Oh.
So if you add in a Broodlord wave, just once, don't go mass Broodlords. Don't make 25 of them. Make 8. Literally 8. No Corruptors as well. Just 8 Broodlords. And then a bunch of Hydras. Attack his base. Your army will probably die again, but you will break his tank line like crazy. And then if you remax again on Hydras, You're good to go. You're fine. I like Lambo's suggestion on when to make Broodlords versus Terran. You know what you guys need to really do, though, as well? Stop listening to pro gamers. If you're someone who is not already Masters League, take what pro gamers say with a grain of salt, because it applies to high-level players only. If you have a pro gamer being like, yeah, you should totally do a fucking Ling build into Broodlords against Mech, and it's like, what league is this guy? He's silver. Do you have any idea how sloppy that's going to look? The silver player is going to be like, fucking sucks. This army sucks dick. What do I do? It's like, well, oh yeah, you don't micro, I forgot. So what's the pro gamer going to do then? Tell you to micro? Well, then he's going to watch you micro and then be like, oh, well, dude, you have to macro. He's going to assume you can do these things. He's going to be like, well, I mean, I thought you could. I thought you understood the concept that you have to macro, but when you micro, you just don't do it. I didn't really think about that. You have to macro, dude. And the guy macros, then he doesn't micro, and he's like, well, you have to micro? If I tell you to make units that suck dick, if you don't micro them, you kind of need to micro them a little bit. Like, don't just let them die. And then the silver guy's like, okay, I'll micro. And then he's like, well, dude, you got to kind of macro again. Like, you have to do both of the same things at the same time. And then the guy's like, I can't do that. Because you can't.
Oh,
I think pro gamers are very bad about understanding what the limitations of a lower level player are. And assuming that they can do it just makes games look like fucking garbage. Like, it's just... Or you're just like, okay, well, you're actually not doing what I said to do, but I'll just watch you do it. Like, you want to know what goes through a pro gamer's mind? If I was a pro gamer still, and I still treated people like that, like the way most pro gamers do, you want to know what goes through their mind when you're a pro gamer and you watch somebody play who is much worse than you? You go like this. Oh, yeah, you play like me. This is what I do. It works really good. It's so fucking easy. I figured this out. It works great. And although that's true, what they said is true. They tell you to do what they do. And then you try to do it as well. And you don't do it at all, nearly even remotely how they do it. And they watch you make, like, they're like, okay, well, you're not doing my build because I told you to do it, and you're not really doing it. And I'm watching you just kind of fail at it right now. And I can't really, like, tell you how you're failing at it because it's too much to say, and the game's getting kind of ridiculous now. I'll just try to, like, help you recover here, and then you make more mistakes because you're doing a build that is designed for a pro-level player, not someone who's like, I'm Gold League. So... the pro gamer will then eventually just be like, okay, well, he's not even doing the build, so I guess I'm just going to watch what happens here. It's probably just going to die, but... Yeah, good luck. You got it, dude. You can do it. Like, they'll just kind of give up halfway through it, I'm teaching you, because they're like, well, it's not even my build. Even though I told you what my build was, you're not actually doing my build, because obviously, like, you're just not doing it. And it's because the person can't handle it, because it's designed for someone who's fucking really good, not someone who's learning the game. So I fucking hate when people try to follow pro gamer advice, which is exactly the same reason why every Zerg I watch in ZvP, all the Zergs are like, oh, what do you do? I just go Mass Ravager Baneling. Why? Because Lambo does it and the laser does it. Like, do you guys have any fucking idea how they do it? Or do you just go, oh, that pro makes this unit comp, so I make unit comp? It's not even the same fucking thing. Having defensive Ravager Bane is like god awful. It's so fucking bad. And everyone does it. Everyone fucking does it. Everybody does it. It's good for a higher level player. Admittedly. It totally is. It's not good for someone learning the game. It really isn't. But yeah, you're very dead right now. It's because you chose to go Broodlords against Thors. Okay, so I mean, you had honestly, PD. Okay, stopping the talk about everything else. We'll go back to you exactly. You, PD. It's because people always say the same shit. I hear the same thing said all the time, and it's always people trying to emulate pros when they're not a pro themselves. It's crazy logic, but okay, but. This game, all you had to do, PD, to win this game, is play the game in a way where you kill expansion, kill expansion, kill expansion, kill expansion, I would say this was a game where you didn't have to make Broodlords. And why is that? Because the Terran did not turtle. He walked out of his base repeatedly. So you should have just made literally Hydra rounds. Hydra rounds. Hydra rounds. The first engagement you had killed half of his army. If you remax the same army and you fight him again, you're not going to lose your whole army to kill the other half. Because he has less DPS now, which means he has less power going into your army, which means if you lose 100 supply the first time to kill 50 supply of his, and now he's starting the second fight with 50 supply versus your fresh 100 supply army again, which you can make very fast as Zerg. It's not hard to make a full remax of Hydras. It goes very quickly. It's like 25 seconds. Because you should have the larva. That's the whole point here. You're macroing. The second time you fight it versus 50 supply, and it's also softened up a bit as well. It's not all perfectly healthy at 50 supply. It's beat up a bit because it was just in a fight that took damage. You would probably not only win that fight, but you would probably have like 60 supply left over of Hydras the second time you fought it, with 100 supply of Hydras the second time around versus a softened up 50 supply mech army. Because yeah, you're going to still take some losses, but you're going to kill the remainder of what he has really fucking hard because he doesn't have enough DPS to stop you from overwhelming him. And then you could remax again a third time. Whatever died, you could remax it all up again and go across the map and kill his bases. His expansions. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. The fact that you tech swapped so much and then made all these diverse compositions, you're making the game way too much more technical than it has to be, and you kind of threw the game. Honestly. But yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. I went very in depth on that shit. But I could definitely see potential there for you, PD. You definitely have a lot of potential, okay? Don't get down on yourself. If I made you feel bad, your creep spread is the only thing I think is really atrocious. You need to fix your creep spread. But other than that, the rest of it is not bad. I do not expect you to have decision making that is very high right now. Just know it doesn't make any sense to go Broodlords against mech unless they're very turtley, and that turtley factor is that he's on a lot of tanks. Then it makes sense to go Broodlords. But other than that, don't ever make that fucking unit. Ever. Against mech. Anyways, yeah, fuck yeah. Guys, thank you for watching. PD, I hope it helps. Much love, man. I'll get this on YouTube by tomorrow. But if you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, just kidding. It's YouTube. I'm talking like I'm on Twitch right now. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. Go check out more videos if you're interested. I have a lot of stuff out there if you guys want to, you know, check out more of it. But until next time, good luck. Take it easy. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you guys later. Peace, guys.